Good afternoon. This is LockDoc coming through to you. Today I had an interesting request on a Sargent Interchangeable Core. Now this is just the typical one, not a signature series or anything like that. But I thought I would take this opportunity to better explain how to key them. I know well, let's just open it up and look at it. Alright, so here it is right here. And once inside, you get a nice little instruction sheet here explaining all the parts, pieces, and everything that goes about it. Let me zoom out a little bit, make it easier. Alright, so I'm not going to go through this. If you're that interested, just screenshot it. I'll hold it for a second. But most importantly is what's on the back, because I've always heard that these were quite difficult to key up from a lot of different people. But anyways, I can see why they dedicated a whole sheet talking about the math and stacking, the stacking totals. Forgive me there. Anyways, but the entire time I've ever done any keying, I've actually had a whole different sheet that I went by, and that's this. This takes a lot of the thought out of repinning them. As long as you understand it, it's quite straightforward. So up here you have all of the different numbers that you could have for your control key, and everything down here you have to be your deepest cut for either your master key or change key. And anyways, you just figure them all out. So what that actually means is that's what this sheet is showing here. Let's see if I can do this. So the C represents the control key, grandmaster, and master. So every key you have will dictate a 6-digit number, 5-digit number, 7-digit number. What's important on the Sargents would be positions 3 and 4 for the control key as well as all of the others. In order to figure this out, your first two positions are keyed, just any other normal cylinder or master keyed cylinder. Stacks to 10, which means so the 3 indicates the 3 bottom pin, and then the 4 indicates the difference between the bottom pin to that master key cut. It's also called the master pin. 7 keeps the same one, so that's the bottom pin. And over here, 4 and 3, those are the same, so you just put a 4 and 3 bottom pin in there. These numbers, you get these numbers from the chart. So in this case, we have a control key that's a 3, and our deepest cut is a 1. So we come to our form, and you can see 3 control, 1 normal, you get a 1, 10, and 9. And that's where you get my 1, 10, and 9. Over here, you have a 2 control key and a 4. So you go to the 2, go down to the 4, you get a 4 bottom pin, 6 master pin, and a 10 top pin. Okay, so that's where you get my 4, 6, and 10. This is just kind of my little rhythmic for making it work. But anyways, that's how you key them quite simply. Here we go. So I already have all my numbers all done up. But inside here we have the core. Now what's kind of nice about these don't have sidebars. I feel very blessed not to have to deal with the sidebars because they can be kind of a pain in the butt. So once you do that, got your cylinder. Alright. Now it's also another good thing to mention. See how you got 1 and a 10? Within this distance right here you can only have a max of 10. So being that this equals more than 10, you have to take this 9 and 10 and actually load them into the top pins right here. And same thing with your 6 and 10. Those go into the top pins when you load your top pins into here. Alright, so now we got those loaded in. Now we go back through. Also, another fun thing about this, you see how this is kind of loose and moves? Alright, so when you're usually when you load your top pins in, you go pretty much 3 spaces in on either direction. So this way you're not having to reach far down in here and get to the very back. So it just makes it a little bit easier. You can kind of see on camera. You got 1, 2, and then the first one in there is the third spot. Alright, now this one is uncombinated, so there's no pins or springs in here holding it together. So what we do, find some springs. Alright, so we got a 9 and a 10 to put in there. And if you have the opportunity, you always, if you look at that spring size versus that spring size, it's always better to use a spring that's about that length in this position because it has to compact from pretty much here to there when you're moving your key in and out. So the smaller the spring, it works a lot smoother that way. Now sometimes your follower gets hung up because of this being semi-loose, so you have to push down on this while pushing this forward to kind of get it to clear at times. It's a minor thing, but it does happen. It can be quite frustrating. Now if you notice, I did not put my retaining clip on. I do that just in case I did mess up and it doesn't work. I can easily go back through and take it apart. But another thing to mention, when I go to pull this out, I have to use my 2 fingers here and pull that way. And use my fingers to extract it out as opposed to my hand and ripping it out, because if you do that then you got to completely rekey everything because the barrel will come flying. Alright, so that was the master key working. There's the control key working. So Grandmaster should work by default. And there you have it. That is how you key a Sargent 6300 Interchangeable Core. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Thanks again for watching, If you want to take a screenshot of this and make your life a lot easier, feel free. Other than that, thanks again. Have a great day.